I'm here to talk to you guys about the rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is one of the most common autoimmune disease that hit joints, muscles, cartilage, and too many different body parts. First, let's talk about what is rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. I was just saying it is a chronic, uncontrolled inflammation that affects joints, mainly symmetrical. So whatever happens on your right side will be reflected on your left side. It has too many characteristics. One of the most characters for the rheumatoid arthritis is the morning stiffness. So, rheumatoid arthritis, what causes rheumatoid arthritis? First thing, genetic count for 30% of the total cases of rheumatoid arthritis, which is a big thing. It has a correlation to the HLA-DR gene, antigen, affected in your body. So basically your body starts hitting your own self, and it has a destructive action to your joints, to your cartilage, and your synovials, and everything. So one more thing can trigger arthritis is obesity. It's a big issue here in the state. We face obesity over almost around 50% of our population. One more thing is smoking. Smoking can trigger too many diseases. One more thing we can talk about here is age and gender. Arthritis mainly hit people between 40 and 60 years old, and female has an incidence rate 4 times male. A bit complicated. So, as an autoimmune disease, your own immune system start hitting your own body. Okay? So, we have what called T cells. This T cells has CD4 markers, which trigger the immune response. When you have something out of your body or foreign antigen in your body, this CD4 start recognizing and start recalling the specific T cells, it's either CD4 or CD2, all right, and it calls your T helper cells, calls your T cytotoxic cells, doesn't matter. So here, your CD4 marker start interacting and start hitting your own joint. So it can bring all the leukocytic cells, the destructive cells, and the macrophage to your own joint. So it releases the interleukins, mainly interleukin 6. Moreover, it will bring the tumor necrosis factor, which can destroy the foreign cell, and all together will start activating the macrophages, which we can see in the blood test called monocytes or macrophages. It's called monocyte when it's in the blood, and when it goes to the tissue, it's called macrophages. Macrophages have the enzyme that can destroy any foreign body. Okay, we said it's rheumatoid arthritis, so it's inflammation, pain, and of course will be in the joint. All right, so one more we can see. Someone have pain, will have fatigue. Someone with autoimmune disease can have heart problems. Rheumatoid arthritis can hit heart really bad. What else? we can see skin manifestations, scales, blistering. What else will we see? Damage and the cartilage. We were just talking about it in the pathophysiology. When the macrophage eats the cells and it destroys the cartilage and joint, so there will be damage to the joint and it can affect the mobility and daily activities. All right, what else we can see? Some GI symptoms. Patient can have diarrhea. Patient can have nausea and vomiting. Right, what else? We can see more systematically, so we can hit the pulmonary. So patient has an autoimmune disease that can hit the lung, and that can cause atelectasis, can destroy lung tissue, it can cause emphysemas. All right. The patient can have morning stiffness and it lasts between 30 minutes to 1 hour. And one more thing, we can see dry eye and dry mouth. That's very common with patients with rheumatoid arthritis. All right. So how can we diagnose patient with rheumatoid arthritis? So let's jump to diagnose. All right. First thing, we have lab work, we have imaging. Lab work, we can look for rheumatoid factors. Account for around 70% of rheumatoid cases. You will see rheumatoid factor positive in 70% of the cases. We can look for something called anti-CCP, the anti-cyclic citrullinated peptide. This one is an important marker, the secondary marker for patient with rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, it's not like rheumatoid factor, it's not definite, but it is exclusive in patient with rheumatoid arthritis. All right. So what else? We have inflammation. So we can look for inflammation markers. ESR, C-reactive proteins, CRP. This is unspecific inflammatory markers, but at the same time, you will see them in patient with rheumatoid arthritis, patient with osteoarthritis. This is non-specific, so this the first one we look for definite diagnosis. What imaging we can have? We want to look through the joint, through the fluids. So the main thing we can do is X-rays. All right, X-rays is the key. Number two, we can look through MRIs. MRIs can give us a detailed image about tissues. We can use ultrasounds, which will show everything in the joint itself. So let's wrap up some stuff here. First, where we should look for rheumatoid arthritis. Small joints, it's symmetrical. Both sides of the body will have it. What is the main character for rheumatoid arthritis? It's morning stiffness. All right, so we have two main complications with rheumatoid arthritis. First is the heart attack or heart problems, the cardiovascular diseases. Second will be strokes. And third will be lung diseases. As we mentioned, as it's an autoimmune, it can destroy the heart tissue, can destroy the lung tissue, and patients with rheumatoid arthritis have high incidence of strokes. So how we can manage patient with rheumatoid arthritis? First, pharmacologically, we have few classes of medications we can use. The first It's called the disease modifiers class, which includes the tumor necrosis factors inhibitors. The most important ones, or the most famous ones, is Smeza and the infliximab, which is commonly used in hospitals as an IV. One more thing, we can use non-steroidals. Mainly, we can use naproxens, we can use celeprix, we can use diclofenac. Any non-steroidals can help with inflammation and pain. Moreover, we can use steroids. The glucocorticoids is one of the main treatment we use for patients with rheumatoid arthritis, plus the methotrexate, the chemotherapy, which help with controlling the progress of the disease. Another class of medication is going to be the biologicals, the non-TNF. These medications here, Actemra and Kevzara, mainly inhibit the interleukin 6, the one responsible for activating the macrophage and the inflammatory response in the joint. So that's why this group here, the biological and non-biological, considers the disease modifications which should help inhibiting the process of inflammation from the beginning.